Coming out, B-Town bigger. Back on the check-in, on the turn-up, on the pop-up. Fuck.
Yeah, you need to check in, bro. You better tap in before you touch down here in Boston, bro. Boston, we need that paperwork ASAP. Pooh Sims just hit my line, bro. We need that paperwork ASAP. We not playing no games, bro. Don't come out here, bro, unless you got that paperwork, bro.
The music scene has been restless lately, and the energy online feels like everyone's waiting for the next spark to set things off. Right now, it just feels like another person recording tough talk for attention, and if anyone genuinely knows who he is, go ahead and clarify, because the Mystery Act isn't giving what he thinks it's giving. But let's get to the part fans really care about. The wait for PD7 continues. First, it was supposed to drop on Black Friday, then it was delayed to Tuesday, and then suddenly the release date changed again. Fans woke up excited only to be greeted by a new countdown. People were trying to stay patient at first, but now the reactions are turning into, where is it already? Them. One of the louder rumors making the rounds says Max B and French Montana were removed from their seats at a Knicks game in Madison Square Garden. The version people keep repeating is that they ended up in the wrong section and were asked to move. But honestly, the internet loves turning a small mix-up into some dramatic storyline. So until real details come out, it's all just loud chatter.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But you got that little melody thing going on. Let's do music. You know what I mean? They gave me a deal, cut me a nice check, like get paid, nigga. So
right.
you know what? I'm tired of this jail shit. You know, like, skip bids and never been locked up like no 5 years and no shit like that. But you just got tired of getting locked up. You know what I mean? So I did the music, and then actually I came home. I think Max came home around the same time, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know their situation. I really wasn't. You know what I mean? It was just me and Zeke going in the studio along with the rest of 730 or whatever.
Right.
And we was doing our thing. I remember one day we was in the Jewel studio.
Everyone wants something fresh to ride to, and Max B dropping new music would absolutely shift the atmosphere. Thankfully, there's one thing keeping the momentum going. Footage of Max B and French Montana shooting a video for a track off Coke Wave 3.5. The beat is familiar, the vibe is classic, and seeing Max B back on camera with that signature confidence had everyone talking. He's moving, dancing, smiling, looking like someone who's truly happy to be back outside. It's not the old aggressive era of Max, but it's the new energy, new chapter Max, and fans seem ready to roll with it. Then things got stranger. A random video surfaced of some guy trying to warn Max B not to step foot in Boston without paperwork. Suddenly, folks online were labeling him a Boston goon, even though nobody seems to have any idea who this man actually is. If someone is going to speak like they run a whole city, you'd expect at least somebody to recognize him.
Keep it real with you and shit. Like, when you first came out, me like a lot of people, I guess, we assumed that you was Max B replacement and shit. You know what I'm saying? You had to deal with that, right? Coming up, right?
I still deal with it here and there.
Word.
You know what I mean? Because he's a talented dude. But what happened was, I was doing music before, here and there, you know what I mean? But my man Ash or whatever. But I kept getting locked up, going away.
Right.
So when Zeke came home, he like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, you got that little singing melody thing. I'm not a singer.
Naturally, that created tension because from Max's viewpoint, it looked like folks were stepping into a style he laid down first. And if you know anything about Harlem circles, you already understand how tangled these relationships are. These artists grew up around the same blocks, same crews, same studios, Dipset, 45th, Harlem. It's all overlapping energy. Sin City isn't just connected to Jimmy, he's also cool with Cam, which makes the whole situation even more layered. But last night, things took a surprising turn. Cam decided to handle the situation with maturity and told Sin City it was time to shut the back and forth down.
But you know, just clearing the air, you know, for fans that's older fans and know all of us and know a little bit of history about what used to go on in the past, which I don't really bring up. Even like when I did the interview with Max, I'm not going to bring up no old problems he had. I'm not saying anything to get him in any new problems. I'm not doing anything to get him back sent to the penitentiary or jail or whatever the case may be, because some people like, Cam, you ain't asked this, and Cam, you ain't asked that. I mean, he was home 3-4 days and did an interview with me to where
The message was simple. Max is just getting settled after being away for years, so let the man focus on securing his bag and enjoying his freedom. No headaches, no drama, no unnecessary issues. They actually ended that tension live on the show, which was a rare sight in a world where everyone usually wants to keep drama going. Seeing grown men put an end to a conflict like that felt like a win for the culture. At this point in their lives, nobody needs old beefs resurfacing. There's money to make, moves to build, and opportunities ahead, not problems waiting to explode. A lot of fans keep hoping for that war mode version of Max B, but the energy he's showing right now is all about peace, gratitude, and rebuilding. An apology tour instead of a battle plan. Every corner of social media keeps dropping new claims, new clips, and new theories about what's happening behind the scenes, especially when certain big names step back into the spotlight. And right now, Max B's name is spinning through conversations again, with stories popping up faster than anyone can fact check.
Yo, and Joel was like, you and Max should do a duo, like a duet. You know what I mean? And that's how me and Max got cool or whatever, and we did the Henny song, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, so y'all had a chance to work together. People don't talk about the positives; they just try to harp on the negative shit.
The negative sides, man. Like,
right.
We did the Henny record. Max did the hook. We planned on doing some other music, but you know, niggas fell out.
Right.
He had his issues with Jim or whatever.
Right.
And then, you know, that's like kind of home team. Not kind of, it is home team, so once you fall out with him.
And honestly, that's the smarter route. Even the people in Boston talking about paperwork and throwing around threats need to simmer down. We're in an era where the grown man approach looks way better than reckless behavior that leads nowhere good. Credit to Cam for stepping into that peacekeeper role. It shows leadership, and it shows that the culture is shifting. And speaking of Cam, things took another interesting turn when he aimed some subtle shots during his latest show. He didn't name anyone, but the thumbnail said, "Hi hater," which immediately made people raise their eyebrows. Because when you hear "Hi hater," there's one name everyone thinks of.
Max told me to tell you all that shit is old. He fuck with you as much love. Before he came home, he was in jail watching Talk with Fleet, and he loved the shows. He just wanted to let you know it's all good on his behalf. So we not stirring up no old beef, and he just wanted to let you know. And let me know to let you know that everything's all good on his end, man. Period.
That's what's up. And shout out the whole Raw Way, New Jersey. I did hear that. They talk with Fleet fans in there. They watch it like religiously in there.
Maino. Some viewers believe Cam was calling out the Let's Rap About It podcast crew, hinting that they teamed up simply because none of them rock with him. Cam even said they barely know each other in real life and have nothing in common except their dislike for him. Now, whether that's true or not, the internet is already buzzing. And honestly, the idea of a podcast rivalry is a lot safer and a lot more entertaining.
Oh, now they cool all of a sudden. They didn't realize they had this much in common. What y'all bitches got in common? Y'all ain't got nothing in common. Y'all
want your attention, man.
Huh?
He wants your attention.
I'm giving it to him for the 5 minutes. I gave him the 5 minutes. I just gave him the 5 minutes. They got it, man. They got it. I'm not going to say nothing else about it because when I see it, I promise you.
Then real life problems. The history between Cam and Maino has always seemed pretty neutral, so hearing talk about old tension definitely raised eyebrows. For years, it looked like they respected each other's lanes. But then the old stories started resurfacing. The ones where Jimmy allegedly stepped to Maino on Cam's behalf after Maino dropped a line in one of his early tracks that rubbed Dipset the wrong way. Back then, anything that hinted at the crew got noticed instantly, so even a small reference could spark real reactions. Most people didn't even know that moment happened, and clearly a lot of these details were buried under years of new drama. With January creeping closer, hopes are rising again. The holidays will fly by, and then maybe, PD7 and Coke Wave 3.5 will finally hit the streets. When Max stepped away from Bird Gang, the whole sound shifted. That melodic lane he helped shape suddenly felt empty, and people noticed it quick. Behind the scenes, there were talks that Jimmy was trying to fill that space with other artists, and Sin City was one of the names moving into that role. He had that same melodic approach, handling hooks and giving tracks that smooth feel Max was known for. Cam didn't name anyone, but he didn't have to. The reference was loud enough. According to Cam, the guys on that other podcast barely know each other and only linked up because they share the same dislike for him. Whether that's true or just entertainment talk, it definitely added fuel to the rivalry. But here's the part that proves Maino doesn't back down from anything. When academics threw shots at the Let's Rap About It crew, calling them names and saying they were trying to dress like Mace and Cam, Maino wasted no time firing back. Academics even joked that the cast should be wearing slacks and suits to keep up with Cam and Mace's clean look. And honestly, Cam and Mace do have one of the sharpest dressed shows in the game. Suits every episode is a wild level of commitment. But Maino, he grabbed the mic on his show and unleashed a full response without hesitation. That's exactly why viewers watch him. He doesn't run from any smoke, podcast, or otherwise. Over time, a lot of viewers have learned to adjust to this whole podcast battlefield because it really has turned into a world of constant reactions and controlled tension. At first, some of these shows felt chaotic, but now it's easy to see the pattern. Everyone throws a little smoke just to spark conversation, and the cycle keeps the entire ecosystem moving. As long as it stays inside the entertainment lane, it actually works out well for everyone involved. But the problems start when the podcast back and forth spills into real-life confrontations. A perfect example was that moment when Jim Jones reportedly ran into academics at a Young Boy show. Stuff like that changes the tone instantly. There's no real benefit to pressing someone who's clearly operating in the media lane. Academics is doing his job, they're doing theirs, and the back and forth between them keeps both sides in the spotlight. It's all part of the machine. Attention, discussion, momentum. No one needs to bring street energy into a space meant for commentary. That's why Maino's stance on all this stands out. His approach is, if we're talking jokes and podcast talk, then let's keep it at jokes and podcast talk.